Welcome to the No Dress Code Pod, where we keep it real, celebrate Black excellence, and dive into the things that matter most. Tune in, vibe out, and let's get into it. Welcome to another episode of the No Dress Code Pod. I'm your favorite host, as well as your favorite hoochie. Legs out, not open, Bree. And if this is your first time listening, then thank you. If you are a returning guest, then you already know how I feel about you. You already know how I'm coming about you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Because without you, where would I be? Now, before we get into today's episode, you guys already know I'm going to ask. You already know I'm going to say. I hope that you are having an amazing week. If you're not, drop it in the comments and let me know that you're not having an amazing week. Now, there's nothing I could do for you in this moment but continue to speak it over you and pray that your week going forward is amazing. But drop it in the comments, because if I can't help you, maybe somebody else can. So let me tell you guys about my week. Let me tell you guys about my week. As I said, I've been trying to do better. I've been trying to include you guys on my weeks. I've been trying to update y'all the same way I ask y'all to update me. Okay? Nice little mental health check-in between me and you. So as you guys know, we celebrated our 50th episode last week. Still off of a high from that. Let's see. I also celebrated my 4-year anniversary of being a gym girly. As much as I knew I would make it to episode 50 on this podcast, I definitely did not imagine myself making it to 4 years of being a gym girly. But I love it. I love the results. And, I think I found something I'm going to stick with for a little bit. Other than that, my week was okay. I mean, it wasn't the best week of my life. But, keeping positive, thinking positively. We'll see how it does. So, let's get into this week's episode. So, I don't know who else needs to hear this, but you're not behind. Even if it feels like everyone else in life is checking off boxes, hitting their milestones, and living a timeline you thought you'd be living by now, you're not late. This episode of the No Dress Code Pod is about letting go of the pressure of arriving by a certain stage or a certain age. We are rewriting timelines that were never ours to begin with. And learning how to move at a pace that actually feels honest and real for us. Because life does not always happen in the way that you expect, in the order that you expect. Sometimes you have to hit pause. Sometimes you got to start over. And sometimes you grow into the version of you who's finally ready for everything you thought you would be ready for overnight. Because a lot of the times, it's not about rushing to the finish line. It's about building the version of you that's actually ready for it. When you finally get it, when it finally arrives. If this episode resonates with you, or somebody who feels like they're still quote unquote behind, hit that share button or drop a comment and let me know what timeline you're trying to or you're going to be rewriting. Whether it's career, love, or the fact that you're still trying to fold a fitted sheet. You ever say to yourself, I thought I'd have by now? Because I know I have. And honestly, that question alone is where all the pressure lives. We come up with these timelines in our head and honestly, not even just our head, because these timelines don't come from just anywhere, right? Um, these timelines were literally planted in us by school, by TV, by family, just by what we saw growing up. These timelines were all but given to us, right? These timelines were all but passed down to us based off what we saw, just how we grew up. Um, if you grew up and your parents were high school sweethearts and your grandparents were middle school sweethearts and your aunts and uncles were, college, elementary school, like sweethearts. And you going through life and you're in high school now or you're in college now and you're like, the rest of my family had this figured out by now. Like, is it something wrong with me? Is it me? Why don't I have it? Like, I really thought I would have it by now. The pressure of I thought I would have X, Y, and Z by now is crazy how much pressure that one little sentence holds. Because at 25, you're supposed to be doing this, right? By 30, you're supposed to have this. And by 35, you should have it all figured out. And it's like, why? As you experience these ages and then as you get older and you pass these ages, it's like, I thought I would have this by 25. Baby, I didn't even know me when I came up with this timeline. Like, how did I have expectations for somebody I didn't even know? Like, girl, had no idea who I would be. Like, had no idea who I would be at that age. What I would be doing, where I would even be, the experiences I would have experienced to even get me to that age. But to have expectations for somebody that I really don't even know is crazy. It is mind blowing how loud that clock gets. That clock that tells you, oh, you're behind. Nobody really talks about what it feels like to grieve a version of yourself that hasn't happened yet. Like, I'm supposed to be married with a picket fence and 2.5 kids by 30 and 34, and ain't no marriage and kids in sight. And honestly, at this point and where I am, honestly, like, I'm fine with that, right? I don't know. Like, I granted, I feel like things would have changed, and um, I wouldn't be who I was today if I was married at 25, right? But the person I am today feels like I probably wouldn't have made a good wife at 25. But then again, maybe I would have, because I would have had to change. Like, I wouldn't be who I am today if I was married at 25. So I don't know. But the person I am today feels like I wouldn't have made a good wife at 25. The person I am today questions if I would make a good mother at any age. And not because I'm not capable of handling it. Obviously, life ain't went the way I planned anyway. So we'll see how life works out in that aspect. But back to our back to the episode at hand. There is sometimes with that grieving someone that you have not become yet. It is, for me, to a certain extent. I don't know about you guys. There's an ache. There's a pain of not just what's missing, but what should have been here by now. Like, I should have had the white picket fence by now. I should have had that second story by now. I should have had, how old am I? I should have had a few little rugrats running around by now. And again, grateful that I don't, right? Grateful that I don't, but this is the stage that I'm at now versus the way I thought my life would have been. It did take me a while to get to a all right, but genuinely I'm grateful that I don't have that right now. As much as I thought I wanted it at by this age. That feeling of ooh, everybody around me is just I'm not that feeling of I'm not where I feel like I should be or where I feel like, I'm supposed to be is heavy. It's quiet. And it's a very, very real feeling. So, how do we begin to rewrite this, right? Um First off, we need to stop measuring using other people's tape. And if you didn't hear me, I'm gonna say it again. We need to stop measuring using other people's tape. A lot of the times we're asking when something is gonna happen or um yeah, when something's gonna happen. But honestly, we should be stop focusing on the when something is gonna happen and more so focus on the how does it make me feel? Does this bring me peace? Does this bring me confidence? Does it feel aligned even if it doesn't look right on paper? Because as much as I know we want to reach the destination that we have envisioned in our heads to be, it, right? To be our timeline, to be just the main focal. As much as we want to reach those destinations, the marriage, the kids, the house, um, the vacations, the vacations, um, the barbecues, the late nights, the early mornings, as much as we want to reach that, is like I said, like who I am now and the journey I've lived now and the life I've experienced now tells me that I wouldn't have experienced this if I was married at 25. That's for sure. So, I don't know what all my journey entails going forward from this point on, but baby, I just got to enjoy the ride. I'm going to reach my end point one way or another. Right? The thing about me that I truly believe is what's meant for me is meant for me. Can't nobody stop what's meant for me, right? Um so I'm going to reach my journey. I'm going to reach the point that I'm supposed to reach and I'm going to have everything I'm supposed to have in this life. I got to enjoy the journey. I have to make sure that whatever it is I'm doing now to get me prepared for what it is I want, I need to know like the steps in the process. Is this bringing me peace? Is this building my confidence? Is this bringing me joy? Am I happy doing this? Um, does it spark interest? Like whatever the case may be, this journey has to be enjoyed just as much as the destination is supposed to be. My wins might be, and when I say wins, I mean my WINs. My wins might be celebrated a little bit more quietly. And that's okay. All my wins don't have to be celebrated with, loudness. They don't have to be celebrated with um maybe as long as my wins are celebrated, really. That's all that matters. And they don't have to be celebrated by everybody. They just need to be celebrated by me. Most of the time, they just need to be celebrated by me. And my wins are, or like some of my wins could be like just my wins could be healing, boundaries, clarity. Cause them is some real wins, and they are just as real, and they deserve just as much celebration as anything else I accomplish in this life, because they are helping me get to what it is I want to be. And again, my timeline, I put an imaginary timeline of maybe 25, but I didn't know by 25 I wasn't going to be healed. I didn't know by 25 I was still dealing with boundary issues. I didn't know by 25 that I was still not seeing things clearly because, again, I haven't healed. So these little wins, they still need to be celebrated because they're contributing to me becoming who I'm supposed to be to get what it is I want out of life. My timeline is not canceled. It's just being revised. Honestly, if I'm being completely honest, there's a few timelines that I've had to go ahead and edit. I done had to go ahead and get together. I've had to completely rewrite a career timeline. I didn't know what I was gonna be, if I'm being honest. I didn't know what I was gonna be. I didn't know what I was gonna do. I never thought I would be a stay-at-home mom or wife, though, if I'm being honest. That just was not in it for me. I didn't see myself being one of them girls. But as I get older, baby, I sure can. I sure do. I see myself that way. I sure do. I'm not one of the women that be like, oh, I can never let a man take care of me, pay all my bills completely, and be completely dependent on the man. I can. I can be completely dependent on you, sir. I don't care how that makes me look. I can be completely dependent on you, sir. Sure can. Sure will. I can also hold my own though, but if you want me completely dependent on you, I sure only fuck can with no complaints. Um, but I've had to completely okay, so when I first started school, right, elementary, whatever, they asked you what you wanted to be. I was somewhat realistic in my dreams. I didn't want to be a princess. I didn't, that wasn't it for me. I wanted to be a doctor. Why a doctor? Girl, I don't know. I don't know. And it's not like I can't handle blood. It's not like I can't handle stuff like that. I could. I very much can. A little fun fact about me that you probably don't know. I actually went to school for phlebotomy. So I can handle blood. That's not even an issue. It's just I don't know. And it had nothing to do with how much schooling they have to go through. Because at that age, I didn't even know about all that. I just knew I wanted to be somebody's doctor, and that was really gonna be it. Um, and then I will say around like third grade-ish, I switched from wanting to be a doctor to wanting to be an actress. Um, and that lasted probably up until I graduated high school. And then from there, I wanted to do more photography. And yeah. So, I'm kind of in the same field, career-wise, I guess. I don't necessarily do photography anymore, but I could. I wasn't bad at it. It was actually kind of good. I just, I can't, I'm not the type of person that really wants to be tied down to one thing. And I've realized that I have a lot of interest in a lot of things and I want to explore as much as I can before my time on this earth is gone. Which Yeah, so I transitioned I had to rewrite my career. I had to rewrite my love life because baby, who I was dealing with when I was 25, mm-mm. I ain't never had a relationship, but who I was dealing with when I was 25, baby, we wasn't gonna make it. I wasn't gonna marry you. Uh-uh. And I just knew, like, I wasn't gonna marry you. I wasn't gonna marry you. I didn't need to have no kids by you. Like, I need to get out scotch free. And I got out without a marriage and a kid, and that's all I can say I got out with. Um, yeah, so I just, I be knowing. I had to change that timeline too. Obviously had to change the home timeline. Cause I don't have no white picket fence, no 2-story yet. I'm saying yet, and honestly, I'm saying it and I'm thinking about it like, God damn. I'm gonna look back on this one day and be like, damn girl, all you really wanted was a 2-story and look where you are now. Cause we gonna be somewhere. Yeah. We gonna be somewhere and we gonna do something. And it's gonna be nice. Just know that. You can mark my words. But yeah, like I'm just thinking like, damn girl, all you was asking for a 2-story and look what you got now. Speaking into existence. Yeah, I've had to detour a lot. Like, baby, just life ain't went the way I thought it would go. Career, love life, like it just has not gone the way I thought it would go. And that's just that on that. I really thought I would have it figured out by this age, but when they say life is gonna life. And granted, I'm not gonna sit here and act like I wasn't a willing participant in life, you know. I willingly participated in life. So life on life and you just gotta roll with the punches. And even though, like I said, and like I said, life is on life, right? And with that being said, and even though I said I was a willing participant in life, I'm not saying that to say that I failed or I view myself as a failure. It just means I was paying attention to myself. Now, let's talk about proof, right? Because there is always proof. There was always proof. Have you ever had something show up after you thought it was too late? A second chance? A better offer? A moment that made you pause and go, wait, hold on now. Hold up. Look at God. Because I know I be having that moment more than once. Right? I be wanting stuff bad. Like I said, I thought I wanted, ooh, baby, I thought I wanted a kid by 26. And I ain't get it. I ain't get it. And I look back on my time and I'll be like, ooh, look at God. Because that man know I ain't nobody kid at no 26, baby. So I used to watch Teen Mom, right? Originators. When they first came out, Teen Mom 1, 2, and 3, I think is where I stopped like following people after Teen Mom 3. So I used to watch Teen Mom and I used to want to be a Teen Mom because of Teen Mom. And it's like, I look at God and I be like, ooh, thank you to the man upstairs. You knew, like, this show is supposed to make it look as if it's not easy to be a teen mom. And granted, it's not. They're really not serving up, oh, this is caviar and crab legs every night aesthetic, right? They're not showing up like that. But something about it just said, "Oh, baby, I want to be a teen mom." Like it just, and I'm so glad God blocked that one. Okay, I look upstairs at the man every day and be like, "You did your big one. You did your big one on that one." I'm so glad you ain't make me nobody's mama when I was a teen. Baby, I am so glad. Cause yeah. Nah, I'm glad I ain't had that. Because honestly, the version of who I was when I was a teen wouldn't have been able to handle being somebody's mom. If I'm being honest. Like that's not what I want. That's not what I need from my life. If I'm being honest, y'all. That's just not what your girl needs. But I do say that to say that detours, they become the destination. Um, cause life ain't been no crystal stair since I was a teen, but looking back on the journey of who I was to become who I am now, it's been a beautiful journey. Um, I'm not gonna say beautiful like it's been nothing but roses and butterflies, but I'm taking the good with the bad. I'm accepting it how the way life chooses to throw its ways at me. I'm not saying I was a fast teen, okay? Because I wasn't. I just, I thought I wanted to be attached to this one person for the rest of my life, and I didn't. I didn't. As I get older, I realize I don't know if I want to be attached to anybody for the rest of my life, but things change, So that view that I have now could possibly change in the future because it obviously changed from, when I was younger. But yeah, um, I've had to reposition a few things. Like I said, I was working for people from the age of 14 to now. Well, up until last year, really, because that was when I, got fired. Um, and I was miserable. I was miserable working for other people. I won't even sit here and hold you, love the podcast down. I do majority of the work for it. Um, and I'm not gonna say I wouldn't have it any other way, because baby, when I can afford to pay y'all, when I can afford to outsource, yeah, we're outsourcing because you gotta take care of. I gotta, you know, baby, we're outsourcing. Is the point. When I can afford to outsource, we will be outsourcing as far as like edits and um social media goes. I'm still gonna be the fourth face. Okay. But honestly, if you would have asked me 5 years ago, how long have we been in production? Yeah, if you would have asked me about 5 years ago, I would have never thought I would be on someone's camera talking or on someone's screen talking to you. Now, granted, I had a idea of what I wanted to do. And so it's not too far off. I'm not saying I didn't think I would be like a YouTube star, maybe a couples channel. If I were to have ever been in a relationship, maybe a couples channel. But really, I didn't envision myself to be a podcaster 5-10 years ago. So that in itself is a shift. That in itself is a change of how I thought things would go or where I thought things would be and how I envisioned my life. But I do feel like everything that I've done leading up to this has kind of just led me to this anyway. It's been like, okay, I can kind of see it. I can kind of see it. I didn't know that this is where we were going, but some of the things you were doing in life, I can kind of see it. Some of the things that interest you, some of the things that excited you, it all plays a part. You video edit, obviously, you got to edit for your own podcast. Um, you learn new things about like soundboards and engineering. So, you're doing a little thing, you're doing a little thing. Every almost like but the things that you're genuine or that I'm genuinely interested in have kind of all literally led me to this point without me knowing it, without me being like, "Oh, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm working for." It was more so everything that has been of like interest to me has basically all but really led me here. Like, I was in school for digital media. I was in school trying to learn graphic arts, right? Podcast. I've done video editing classes. I intended to take a podcasting class, but due to finances, your girl couldn't afford the class. I'm not asking y'all to go fund me, but if you want to, I could leave you my Cash App, my Apple Pay. We can start a GoFundMe for the school. Whatever it is you want to do, if you want to help out. Not asking you to, but if you want to, I won't deny the help. Um. So yeah, like everything that I've stuck with, except for phlebotomy, has basically led me to this adventure. And it's like looking back on it, it's like, God dang, like that's crazy. Cause I've been doing like trying to do graphic arts. I considered IT work. But when I was doing this, like when I was really trying to like figure it out, it was just like I want a job that I could do that I could work from home. Right. Because I already knew I didn't want to leave my house. I don't really like dealing with people like that. But if we do a meet and greet, you guys would love it, and I would be so much fun. And maybe one day. So I knew I didn't really want to leave my house every day. And honestly, podcasting again was not what I was thinking about. It wasn't something I was like, oh, I could do this and I don't have to leave my house. This was something else. This came to me through something else. Honestly, I was with a friend. We had went to a lip service with the Angela Yee episode. And I was just like, I feel like we could do this. I feel like this. It started off with, I feel like this would be fun for us. The us didn't work, and it wasn't even the person that I talked about that was going to do it with me. Like this was just the person I went to the show with, and I was like, I feel like this would be fun for us. Obviously the us didn't do it, but that's fine. And then it merged into something more of like, I mean, yeah, I feel like this could be fun for us, for me, but I also feel like I could really do this. Like I could really, find myself and find my way with this. And so it merged from, oh, just a little fun idea to maybe if we don't take nothing else serious, we take this serious. We didn't, okay, got merch. Okay, we're working on doing more. Again, if y'all want to buy this sweater, you just let me know. It comes in different colors. I'm just here to let y'all know it comes in different colors. We got whatever color it is you want, whatever size it is you need. You just let me know. So yeah, and we're only 51 episodes in, but I probably have not been as dedicated to this, to anything else, as I've been to this. Outside, and I don't even want to say like outside of boxing, because I'll miss a workout to do this if I have to. Um, you know, it's unfortunate, but if I have to, I will. But yeah, like I found something that worked for me. It really wasn't the career path that I had ever imagined for myself. But then also I feel like it comes full circle because no, I'm not acting, but it's still within like the entertainment quote unquote business type of thing. Um, no, I'm not doing digital media per se or graphic arts per se, but I could do a little bit. I could Photoshop. I could maybe come up with a bomb ass flyer for you. Like I could pull some graphics together type of thing. Now I did not create the logo for NDC, I will be honest. I feel like I tag this person every chance I get, but I will let you guys know who did the logo. In case you guys want a logo, you just DM, comment, email, let me know. I'll let you guys know who did the logo for sure. Um, but yeah, like everything I've been passionate about, or everything that, as far as like school wise, for sure, that every course I've taken seriously really led me to this point. Um, everything, yeah, from video editing, digital media, like I'm not done with classes, but I've had to transition a few times. My life has not panned out the way that I thought it would pan out. When you ask 10-year-old Bree how she thought her life would be, she'd say she's getting married at 25, having her first kid at 26, um, getting married and buying a house at 25, having her first kid at 26. And baby, little did we know what the world had in store for us. He wasn't buying no house at 25. Okay. He wasn't buying a house at 25. You damn sure didn't get married at 25. Okay. And once again, look at God. Look at God. Because whoever I was dealing with at 25 was not it. It was not it at all. I promise you that one. Just the things I thought I wanted by 25, I'm glad I don't have. Everything except for the house, I'm glad I don't have. The things I wanted by 30, I thought I wanted a Jeep. I said, oh, babe, once I pay off my Kia, I'm turning around, going to the dealership and going to buy me a new car immediately. And I'm not going to say it wasn't on my mind when I first paid that bad boy off. But I didn't, because I ended up not wanting a Jeep anymore. I wanted a Tesla. Don't drag me. I already know. Tesla, Elon, bad, right? I wanted a Tesla, obviously. I ain't get it. Stuck with my little Kia, and I ain't gonna get a car note since. Not that I won't, because I'm definitely not one of those people who say, oh, I'm done with my car note. I'm done with car notes. Because no, I'm not, unfortunately. I'm gonna get another one. Eventually. Gonna get another one. But for now, I'm done with the car note. And I'm honestly glad I didn't go get my Jeep. Although I still love the customability of it, the taking the doors off, taking the top off. You know, that's really what sold me. Was the doors off and the top off. But them things are some goddamn gas gugglers, and I already have a gas car that I don't want to put gas in. So look at God. Okay, look at God. I wasn't even financially ready to go get me another car. So yeah, I thank God for all the small things. That's all I'm saying. Because honestly, what would it feel like? What would it look like if we stopped rushing? I say this quote, and again, I thought it was a biblical quote, just to find out it was a presidential quote. It said, "Comparison is a thief of joy," and that's basically all rushing is doing. You're rushing because you're comparing yourself to somebody else. Comparison is a thief of joy. I've compared myself to friends who did get married at 25, 26. Um, you know, I'm not saying their life is any more greater or any more worse than mine. It's just their life. You know, that's their life. That's what they chose. That's how it worked out for them. And, more power to them. But for me and my spirit, I'm glad I am where I am and not where I thought I wanted. I'm glad I don't have what I thought I wanted. What so the thing that sometimes gives me is like, what would it sound like in your head if you weren't trying to rush to beat all these imaginary deadlines? Cause I don't know about y'all, but y'all know about me a little bit, right? Y'all know a little bit of depression comes into play every now and then. And sometimes that be it. Sometimes that be it. That be like, oh goddamn, I'm behind. My friends have X, Y, and Z. My friends are doing this. People my age are doing that. I'm here. Baby, I had to learn how to stop comparing myself because I don't know what them people went through to get what they have. Even if I was there and a part of their story, I don't know what they went to get what they have. Because honestly, I don't know about y'all, but I don't want to race through life just to say I made it to a deadline. That's not living. That's progress dressed up as pressure. Now, though I like to be some pressure, okay? Keep your eyes on me. Eyes on me. Apply that pressure. As Ari Lennox said, I don't want no progress. I don't want no pressure dressed up as progress. Because, baby, all I'm trying to say is you still get to want things. You still get to have ambition. But we also still get to breathe. Don't kill yourself over no imaginary timeline. You get to breathe. You get to move at your own pace, and you don't owe anybody an explanation for that. Because what's meant for you is meant for you. The point of the matter is you get to move at your own pace, and you don't owe anybody an explanation for that. You get one life. You have to figure out life doesn't come with a manual. You have to figure out life for you. And sometimes that's not as fast as other people. But also sometimes other people aren't given the same trials and tribulations that you're given either. So don't compare your life to someone else's because genuinely you don't know what they had to go through to get that. You don't know what they had to go through to become what they are, who they are. Same as you. They don't know what you had to get through. They don't know what you've had to survive. So that's all I have for you guys today. Before I let you guys go, though, we do have a Reddit. So today says, am I the asshole for not wanting to marry my girlfriend after getting her pregnant? I, 20 male, am in the U.S. Navy and have been stationed in Japan for just over a year. A few months after I got here, I met a local girl, 19 female, and we started dating. Things moved pretty fast. We spent a lot of time together, got close quickly, and while we weren't trying for anything serious at first, it naturally turned into something more. She told me she's pregnant a few days ago. We were using protection most of the time, but not perfectly, and obviously, one slip up was all it took. I was shocked at first, but I told her I want to be involved. I've taken steps to make sure I can support her financially and be part of the baby's life. I'm not the kind of guy to walk away. I recently got orders. In about 3 months, I'm being deployed back to the States, specifically to Virginia. That makes the whole situation 100 times harder. We've talked about options, and she and her family are pushing hard for marriage. They say it's the only acceptable thing culturally now that she's pregnant. She's also scared of raising the baby alone and says marriage would make her feel more secure. Her family isn't having it. They've accused me of abandoning her and being just another American who came here, got a girl pregnant, and bailed. They think I should marry her to do the right thing, especially with the baby on the way and my deployment coming up. But others say I'd be making a bigger mistake by committing to a marriage I'm not ready for, especially when I'm about to be 7,000 miles away. I still talk to her every day. I want to stay in the baby's life, but right now I feel like I'm being treated like the bad guy just because I'm not ready to get married under pressure. So am I the asshole for refusing to marry her, especially with deployment coming up? Well, Navy guy, gotta be honest with you. Um, Speaking of pressure, just like I said, baby, you can't be pressured. Okay. I don't think you're the asshole. I think, like you said, you're just not ready for marriage. Now, granted, do we know what happens when we have sex? Yes. Protected or unprotected, there is always a chance that you can end up pregnant. I You're 20. I feel like at that age you should know that. I knew that by the time I was 19, 20, that it only takes one time and it does not matter whether I really wrapped it up or didn't. I could become pregnant either way. Um Wrapping it up does lessen my chances, but again, it's not 100% thing. And I wouldn't want to marry nobody that under no pressure. Okay. As far as how y'all gonna make that work, I don't know. I don't know. Culturally, okay. I mean, culturally, should you marry her? Sure. But then culturally, you probably shouldn't have been having sex with her till you was married anyway, if that was the case. But that's either really neither here nor there, you know. I wouldn't suggest you marry her if you aren't ready, especially being 7,000 miles away. I don't want to, lump you in with military guys, quote unquote, but I don't know. I hear a lot about military people, and don't get married if you're not ready. Don't do it. You gonna have to figure out a way to raise that baby, but marriage is really the option, in my opinion. Um, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't advise for you to do it. I don't think you're the asshole, but you just gotta figure out how y'all gonna raise that baby together, or what y'all gonna do, really, because that's a hard one. That's one I thank God I ain't never had to deal with. You know. Um, but y'all let me know in the comments who you think is an asshole. If you think it's the boyfriend, the US Navy guy, the 19-year-old girl and her family, who y'all think is an asshole? Y'all could think it's me. Yeah, y'all could just let me know in the comments. Y'all think it's me. And that's okay too. That's completely okay. Now I'm gonna wrap this episode up for you guys. I just want you guys to know before I let you go that your timeline can change. It can change, it can stretch, it can slow down, and it is still valid. It does not take away from who you are. It does not make you any less worthy of anything. It is still valid. I hope I hope this episode reminded you that there is no race. That even when you start late or start over, you're still in motion. Reflect on the timeline that you guys have outgrown. Ask yourself what pace actually feels right for you today, not 10 years ago. And remember, the version of you who's building it slowly might just be the version of you who's building it to last. Now, before I let you guys go, for sure, for real, before I peace y'all out, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to follow the No Dress Code Pod on all socials. That's TikTok, Twitter, X, and Instagram. Thank you for listening. If this resonated with you, share this with someone who you feel like this could resonate with as well. And let me know in the comments what timeline you're rewriting right now. Honestly, if you guys figured out how to fold that fitted sheet, let me know. Because I'm not there yet. Okay. I'll see you guys, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to pull up, because they're gonna love it here just like you do. And I'll see you in next week's episode. Bye. You're still here? You know the show's over, right? Don't cry. We'll be back next week. I gotta go be a hoochie. In the meantime, catch up on the older episodes.